Dear students, you are again welcome back to Shivarajan's teaching room, STR. In the previous chapter, we had seen what are the different aspects of human reproduction, and we have seen 7 aspects. What are they? Gametogenesis, insemination, fertilization, blastulation, implantation, gestation, and parturition. So we had seen all these things in our last episode. Today we will deal with the male reproductive system. The male reproductive system consists of 1. A pair of testes, then accessory glands and ducts, and 3. External genitalia. External genitalia. So the male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, accessory glands and ducts. Accessory means helping, connected with, we can say like that. So accessory glands means there are certain glands and certain ducts which are connected to this male reproductive system, and the external genitalia. Okay, so these organs can be grouped into categories. All the different organs in the male reproductive system can be grouped into 2 groups. 1, the primary sex organ. Primary sex organ, and 2, the secondary sex organs. Secondary sex organs. So the organs in the male reproductive system can be grouped into 2 categories. 1, the primary sex organ. 2, the secondary sex organs. What is a primary sex organ? A primary sex organ is the organ which produces the gametes and also produces the hormones. So the primary sex organ is the organ that produces the gametes, that the sperms in male reproductive system, and also the male hormones, and it is the testis. So testis produces sperms or the male gametes, and testis produces male sex hormones, the testosterone. So testis is the primary sex organ. Once again, what is the primary sex organ? The organ that produces male gametes, or we can say the gametes, and the hormones is called the primary sex organ. In male reproductive system, testis is the primary sex organ. The secondary sex organs include the glands, ducts, and external genitalia. The glands, ducts, and external genitalia come under the secondary sex organs. Now we will see the structure of testis. Now we will see the structure of testis. So testis is an oval organ which has the length of 4 to 5 centimeters. Length is 4 to 5 centimeters. Then the width 2 to 3 centimeters. Width, width, width 2 to 3 centimeters. Then the thickness, there is a thickness. It is 3 centimeters. 3 centimeters thick. So what is the size of the testis? Testis is 4 to 5 centimeters in length, 2 to 3 centimeters in width, and 3 centimeters in thickness. And we know there is a pair of testes. The testis is located in the pelvic region. The testis is located in the pelvic region. Then again it is kept inside a bag-like structure. Both the testes are kept inside a bag which we call as scrotum. This is the R-O-T-U-M, the scrotum. Or we can say scrotal sacs. So the testis is seen in the pelvic region, below the abdomen and outside the body. It is kept outside the body, below the abdomen, in the pelvic region. And again, both the testes are kept inside a bag-like structure called scrotum, or we can say scrotal sacs. And we have to think why it is kept outside the body. Is it because there is no space inside the abdomen to place these things? No, of course there is plenty of space inside the abdomen, but this is a special purpose why it is kept outside. See, the testis can work in a healthy condition at a temperature between 34.5 to 35 degrees centigrade. 34.5 degrees centigrade to 35 degrees centigrade, at this temperature only the testis can function and produce sperms. But the body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. The body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. But the testis can function in a healthy line only at a temperature of 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade below the body temperature. So the body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. The testis can function in a healthy condition and produce sperms only at a temperature 2 to 2.5 below the body temperature, that is 34.5 to 35 degrees centigrade. So it is placed outside. Once it is inside, the testis will be having always the temperature of 37 degrees centigrade. Then it cannot function properly and produce the sperms. So it is kept outside. Now you know why the testis is kept outside the body. Okay. Then what is the function of scrotum? The function of scrotum is to protect, to protect testis. What is the function of the scrotum? To protect testis. Then to maintain the temperature suitable to the testis. So the scrotal sacs or scrotum has got two functions. One, to protect the testis. Okay. Then second is to maintain the temperature suitable to the testis. See, if you observe the testis or if you observe the scrotal sacs of a small boy about 2 years or 3 years, you can understand one thing. In the morning hours, when the temperature is low outside, the scrotal sacs shrinks and hold the testis close to the body to protect from cold, to protect from the cold. If you see the testis or scrotal sacs of the same child during the noon hours, that means 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, like that, we can see that the scrotal sacs have become loose. The scrotal sacs has become loose and the testis is hanging down to keep the testis away from the body. That means to protect from excess heating. So the testis now I think you can understand why or how the scrotal sacs help to maintain the suitable temperature for the testis. So it constricts when it is cold, it looses and hangs down when it is hot, So this helps to maintain the temperature suitable for the testis. So the scrotal sacs has two main functions: to protect the testis and helps to maintain the temperature suitable for the testis. Okay, now we will see the structure of testis. The structure of testis. Each testis, structure of testis. Each testis has 250 compartments. So this is a compartment, this is another compartment, these are all compartments. Like this, each testis has 250 compartments. These are called testicular lobules. So this is a testicular lobule. Each testis has got 250 small compartments in it, and each compartment is called a testicular lobule. Inside each testicular lobule, there may be one, or there may be two, or there may be even three. 1 to 3, we can say 1 to 3 highly coiled tubes. In each compartment there are 1 to 3 highly coiled tubes called testicular tubules. So each testis has got 250 chambers, and each chamber is called a testicular lobule. Such 250 testicular lobules are there. Then in each lobule there are 1 to 3 highly coiled tubes. These tubes are called testicular tubules. And if we see the testicular tubule, see, this is a small tube which is highly coiled, and inside this testicular lobule, the wall of the tubule is lined by, or the wall of the tubule is covered by, two types of cells. See, the inside wall of the testicular tubule is lined by, covered by two types of cells. One, Sertoli cells, and second, male germ cells. So there are two types of cells inside the testicular tubules, or they can be called as seminiferous tubules. They are also called as seminiferous tubules. So each seminiferous tubule has got two types of cells inside it. One is Sertoli cells, the other is male germ cells. The Sertoli cells are elongated cells. See, these elongated cells, they are the Sertoli cells. The elongated cells extend into the lumen. Lumen means inner cavity. So the Sertoli cells extend, they are elongated cells, and they extend into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule, and their function is nourish thus developing sperms. So what are Sertoli cells? The Sertoli cells are elongated cells seen inside the wall of the seminiferous tubule, and these cells extend or project into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. And what is their function? It nourishes the developing sperms. And the male germ, the other cells are the male germ cells. The male germ cells develop into the sperms. The sperms develop from the male germ cells. So the question is, what are the different types of cells present in the inner wall of the seminiferous tubules? There are two types of cells, the Sertoli cells and the male germ cells. The Sertoli cells are elongated cells which extend into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule. And the male germ cells develop into the sperms. The Sertoli cells are called Sertoli cells because these cells are identified by Enrico Sertoli. Enrico Sertoli. So these cells are identified by Enrico Sertoli. That's the name of the doctor who identified it, the anatomist who identified it. So these cells are called the Sertoli cells. And so what are the different types of cells in the seminiferous tubules? The seminiferous tubules is lined by two types of cells, the Sertoli cells and the male germ cells. The Sertoli cells are elongated cells identified by Enrico Sertoli, and these cells extend into the lumen of the seminiferous tubule and they nourish the developing sperms. And the male germ cells develop into the sperms. And now, see, I told you, there are 1 to 3 highly coiled tubes in each compartment, each vestibular lobule. They are the seminiferous tubules. So outside seminiferous tubule, so the point where I touch, this point here, there is a space between the seminiferous tubules. And this space is called interstitial space. Interstitial space. So what is interstitial space? The space between the seminiferous tubules inside each testicular lobule. It is called interstitial space. This interstitial space is having some cells called interstitial cells. Interstitial cells. The interstitial space is having some cells called interstitial cells. These interstitial cells are also called as Leydig, L-E-Y-D-I-G, Leydig cells. So what are Leydig cells? The space between the seminiferous tubules is called interstitial space. The cells seen in the interstitial space are called interstitial cells. They are also called as Leydig cells. They are called Leydig cells because they are identified by an anatomist called Franz von Leydig. So these cells, the interstitial cells, are identified by Franz von Leydig. So they are called the Leydig cells. And what is the function of Leydig cells? The Leydig cells produce the androgens. Androgens means the sex hormones. So the interstitial cells or the Leydig cells produce the androgens, or we can say the male sex hormone, that is testosterone. So I hope you have understood the structure of the testis. Now again, the seminiferous tubules, So seminiferous tubules. The seminiferous tubules open into a small tube called the rete testis. Rete testis. So, see, these may be the rete testis, small tubes. And the rete testis join together, many rete testis join together to form a bigger tube called the vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia. And vasa efferentia opens into a big tubular structure called epididymis. Epididymis. And epididymis leads into vas deferens. Vas deferens. And vas deferens joins to form the ejaculatory duct, which opens through the urethra. Okay. Now, the testis we had seen. Now we are looking at the glands and ducts. So we see the ducts. The seminiferous tubules develop into, each seminiferous tubules develop into a small tubular structure called the rete testis. So what are rete testis? The seminiferous tubules open into a small tubular structure called the rete testis. The rete testis then becomes a somewhat large tube called the vasa efferentia. And the vasa efferentia joins into or opens into a bigger tubular structure called the epididymis. And the epididymis leads into vas deferens. And vas deferens of both the sides, vas deferens coming from both the testes, joins together to form the ejaculatory duct, and the ejaculatory duct opens out through the urethra. So these are the ducts connected to the testis. Okay, so there is a question, what is the path of movement of sperms? We know that the sperms are produced in the seminiferous tubules. The sperms produced in the seminiferous tubules has to move. So what is the path of movement? You may be asked to write it in a flow chart. So what is the flow chart of the movement of, or the path of movement of sperms? The seminiferous tubules, rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. So once again, what is the path of movement of the sperm? The seminiferous tubules, rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. So these are the different ducts connected with the male reproductive system. That is the testis. Okay. At this point, we would like to conclude this section, and the accessory glands and external genitalia we will see in the next episode. Okay. I hope, my dear students, you have understood the structure of the testis and the ducts connected with this, and the path of movement of sperms in a flow chart. So again, what is the flow chart? Seminiferous tubules, rete testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, and urethra. Okay, I hope to see you in the next episode when we continue the accessory glands and external genitalia. Bye.